when you wish that you were more confident, whether it's something like asking a girl what her number is, or telling someone that something isn't right, or something as simple as asking an Audi employee where the milk is. I remember for me, I was at this party and I wanted to tell this girl that she was beautiful and if I could get her number. But she was like with her friends and it's so cliche, like everyone says it, but I was scared of getting like laughed at by her friends. But I'm sure you've had this same kind of experience. But you always have to remember that regret is worse than rejection. And if you keep being scared of rejection, you'll miss all the opportunities in life. And life is a series of opportunities. And if you don't take the right ones, you'll never get to where you want to be. So here's what I've learned about being confident, even if you're an introvert like me and find it hard to be social and to talk to people. Firstly, before we get into like what I've learned, you have to be ready to take action, because it's like learning how to do karate from a book. Sure, you can like learn about it, but the only way to actually like acquire that skill is to go outside and do it yourself. So of course, like there's always a transition period, so it'll feel awkward at first, but you have to really tell yourself that each awkwardness makes then the next one less awkward. So even if you feel like this is embarrassing, you're gonna have to like really ask yourself if this is something that's worth it. So firstly, your body language and physical, because it's all good for like to say like go and talk to 100 people, but for me especially that was always daunting because, as I said, I'm an introvert and I just like don't like speaking to other people. So the way that you can speak to people without speaking to them is by your body language and actions, because actions speak louder than words. So okay, the most obvious thing you can do is like go to the gym and like take care of yourself, so like you actually look kind of like big and you have a body that you're proud of. But even if it's not something like that, you can just, it's just your body language. So if you're walking, like I'm going to make a separate video on body language, but the basics are just keep your neck straight and your shoulders back and just keep your chest open, because if you don't act like you own the space and you're not present in the moment, your confidence is gonna falter as well. So you always have to pretend that you're confident even when you're not. And maybe that's like quite a vague piece of advice, but just imagine like any masculine and man that you look up to. Do you think they're going to like cower away and like have hunched shoulders? Even if they're not confident, even if they're scared, by just having an open posture tricks your body into thinking that you're in control of the situation. And the second one is to get good at something. And what does this mean? So this means that confidence comes from being self-assured in one's abilities to do something. So how can we get confident in general is by being confident at something, whether it's your like your footballing ability, your basketball ability, or you're really good at editing, or you're really good at like, I don't know, making fruit salad. If you're good at one thing, there's this phenomenon called overspill, confidence overspill. So if you're confident in one thing, that will make you confident in other things. Because think about it, someone who's never like done anything good won't be confident in other things. But say you're a really good swimmer and you have like 10 gold medals, obviously you're going to like be somewhat confident in yourself. So I don't think people say this so often, but by just being good at something and being proud of something, and normally what other people tell you is that that's building your body, but that's obviously good, but it could be other things like something you're already good at. Just remember that you're good at something, and that will overspill into other things. And the next thing to remember is that no one actually cares, because I know firsthand how daunting it feels. People are gonna like remember you as that weird guy, or like when you try and do something such as like asking for a girl's phone number, people are gonna make fun of you and call you weird. But the reality is, no one actually cares. And even say they do care, what's the worst thing that could happen? because everyone like visualizes in their head all the worst possible scenarios before they like go and do it. But that's so like counterintuitive. Why would you imagine yourself failing before you go? You have to imagine yourself succeeding. And even if you do fail, that's not a negative thing, because I'm sure many of you have seen this video, or if not, go look at it. It's like this guy asks 100 girls to go out with him. Like, that's all he asks: will you go out with me? And of course he fails, but not all the time. He fails like 80 times out of 100, which means he gets 20 successes. So although he's failed 80 times, the failure from that, but there's still success, so he's actually gaining confidence from that. And I'm not saying to do that because that's odd, but what I'm trying to say is that no one actually cares if you're weird, because the thing is, they're going to forget about it. And by putting yourself down before you do it, by visualizing these things, that's just like such a counterintuitive way to live. And the last thing I could say is kind of a really specific thing, and you might think it's weird, but it's something that works for me. Before I'm going out or to a social event, or know that I'm going to speak to someone, I like to eat clean. So what does that mean? So just like not eating like junk food. And why does that help? But if you think about it, before you go out to a party, two same guys, one of them eats like Doritos and Coke before they go out, but this guy eats like a chicken salad. Who's going to be more like charismatic and naturally radiate more positive energy? So we know, like, obviously it's the guy who ate the chicken salad, but we don't actually know why. But I think it's because by making yourself do the healthy choice of eating this chicken salad, you're like giving yourself bonus points in your mind, because you're telling yourself, oh, I could eat healthy. I literally like could have eaten Doritos, but I chose to eat chicken salad. I'm a disciplined guy. It gives you this like self-assurance before you go. So by eating clean before you go, I think that's a small thing that helps also.